good morning, dear ones. Robert Brzezinski with you. Today is the 21st of April. My gosh, here we are. It just keeps going, right? So today's the 21st, and I am so grateful. I have a dear friend. I forgot the doctor on this slide, but
It's
it's
all
on the
good.
other ones.
It's all
Reverend
good.
Dr. Raymont Anderson. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Great to be here with everybody.
Yes, great to have you. Dr. Raymont's in Baltimore, so he's probably halfway through his morning out here on the western side. We're just getting started and warmed up. I'm not a coffee guy, but I'm only halfway through my first cup of tea. So anyway, folks,
Good
welcome.
start.
We're glad that you're with us. This program happens every day at 8:15 a.m. Mountain Time, and again at 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time. And the whole idea is started with me just wanting to pray. And in the midst of all of this, and then I realized, man, I know a lot of people that really know how to pray, and you might appreciate hearing their voices as well. So we've got a lot of great people on here, and it continues. I'm so glad again that Raymond's with us today. Now, if you do want to get prayer requests to me, please feel free to email that, revbriz@spiritevolving.com. Send that over to me. I'll get you in my prayer book. If you'd like to be involved in the show in some way and either pray here live or have your prayers added to this experience, again, let me know. We'd be happy to do that. And of course, if you'd like to get on the phone and sit and chat for a bit and have a real session and talk a bit about what's going on and how prayer can support you in that, I know I'm available, and I can tell by the nods that Dr. Raymont's available as well.
For
So,
sure.
okay, so here we are. I'm. I don't know how we haven't chatted about this, folks. We don't set these things up, but this is my fifth week now. Start the beginning of my fifth week being
Good
stay
stuff.
at home, and Colorado's about to move from a stay at home to a safer at home, is what
Okay.
the new languaging that's coming out, because we're about to get ready opening some businesses again.
Okay.
But however, that's not what we're supposed to be here. What we're here about is what's been in your prayers, what's been in your heart during this. What would you have people know at this time?
So, one of the main things that's been on my mind and my heart, and I even mentioned it this past Sunday during service, is this idea of going back to normal. And we're not going back. So if what we're acknowledging, where I've been is we acknowledge in New Thought that spirit is ever evolving consciousness. I've never read anywhere in an Ernest Holmes book where he said spirit is a devolving consciousness. So spirit is ever creating, ever evolving, ever becoming more and more and more. So the new normal is us moving forward. It's moving higher in consciousness because the old way, it was steeped in one of the things that this pandemic is bringing out is the idea of what it means to be separate. Like I've even reframed the idea of we're not socially distant, we're physically distant, but socially present and engaged,
Right.
as demonstrated right here by this opportunity to share a prayer. So, praying a lot about what it means to move forward, to move higher, to forge a new path in this new space of a world that works for all. That's where I've been praying.
Yeah. Right on. Well, you're going to fit in around here real fine then.
Amen.
uh, because those folks that are watching and have been watching know that we definitely part of the theme that we've seen and that we've been praying on. Excuse me. Excuse me. Uh, and uh, and that that we are witnessing the demonstration of a decade's worth of prayers, at least, of all these religious scientists and others that have been praying for humanity to awaken to its spiritual magnificence
Yep.
and for a world that works for all.
Yep.
And we're getting to see that.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
hey, there's a name that we both know, Frank. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
what's up, Frank?
Glad you're with us, sir. Welcome to the broadcast. So, all right, here's what we do, folks. It's called Share a Prayer. So I'm going to invite Dr. Raymont to get us started. He's going to move into that spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. At some point along the way, Spirit is going to say, okay, you're good. Nudge that, send that over. He'll pass it my way. I'll say a few words, and then we'll let you know how to stay in touch with us, that sort of stuff, and get you into your day. So, Raymond, please take us away.
So simply anchoring in this moment by connecting to our breath. Simply feeling the inhalation and exhalation as the body temple participates in this thing called respiration. Not trying to control the breath, but simply becoming aware of it. Not trying to micromanage where this last breath went, and not worrying about or being frustrated about where the next breath will come from, but simply being present, recognizing that ultimately this breath is spirit breathing itself in, through, and as this body. In, through, and as this body that is individualized as Raymont, individualized as this body called Robert, individualized as the body of everyone watching and praying together in this moment, whenever this moment of this video is watched. And so in this moment of anchoring to this awareness, I begin at the end. This is a world that works for all. It is so. It is so because that which God is, that which spirit is all there is. And what spirit is infinite life, infinite prosperity, infinite health and well-being, infinite knowingness, knowing itself in, through, and as all of creation. As Ernest Holmes said, God in me, as me, is me. And so I anchor in this realization that spirit, God, the universe, love itself is embodying itself in physical form in, through, and as all that I am. And it is so. It is so for me and every form that God is showing up in, through, and as. So what I know is that every single man, woman, child, being, and creation is a divine emanation, incarnation, and representation of the One. Knowing that, I know that all that God is must also be everything that we are. God is love. I am love. God is love. Robert is love. God is love. Frank is love. God is magnificence and power and health and joy and wonder and so many other things that there are not enough words that could even quantify or explain. And yet I know that this ineffable, this undefinable, this power and this presence is all that I am. As Voltaire said, God is a circle whose circumference is nowhere and whose center is everywhere. So I know the very center of God is right here where I am. The very center of God is right where Robert is. The very center of God is all that is. And it is so. And so I speak this knowing that this power and this presence is demonstrating itself around and on and in, through, and as everything right now. Anchoring in this truth, anchoring in this realization, I now pass these words on to my brother Robert as he continues in this power and this presence of what spirit is.
Yes. Yes, and I too recognize what spirit is, what God is, as the source, as the supply, as that never-ending wellspring of love and light and beauty, truth and health and wealth and well-being, abundance, prosperity. It is all God. Nothing missing, nothing absent. There's no division in God. There is no separation in God. There are truly no borders within God. This power and presence and intelligence is that one self-existent cause. And what I know is I know that God is forever taking on form and then abandoning that form in order to take on new form. The oneness that lives through and as my life will eventually abandon this body and take on new form. I know that the truth of God reveals itself through my life, as my life, because that's God. That's God's creative power. That's the way God expresses itself. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not special or the one. I know that my life is an expression of the one, and so every life must be an expression of the one. There's nothing outside the one. There's nothing that can come from anywhere other than this one power from God. So all life, every furry creature and creepy crawly creature, those with wings and feathers that don't fly, and the human, everyone across this entire planet and beyond, a divine expression of God's great gift of creativity on the planet. And so we get to create. We get to create whatever it is that is in this human desire, whatever it is that I perceive through my human experience. I get to create that. I get to create a world that works or a world that doesn't. I get to create the opportunity to say yes, or I take that opportunity and say no. Regardless, it is this through line of energetic presence that is that is moving all of this. So if I know this is happening for my life, and I know this is happening for all life, then I have to be in that place, and I have to see this thing that we're going through, this place of pandemic, this place of suffering, this place of humanness, as a divine opportunity to awaken as well. It is in this moment I am at that point, that choice point, and all of humanity is at this point of choosing: shall I turn towards the darkness or turn towards the light? Shall I allow my words to vibrate with the apparent negativity, with a doubt, with a humanness, or do I allow my words to vibrate throughout the cosmos with positivity, with light, with truth, with a deep sense of faith and assurance that God's got this, that all it really is well, that there is something happening here to bring humanity forward into its next great expression of life? See, what I know is I know there is a spiral of evolution that is unfolding right now, and I am on that spiral, and you are on that spiral. Dr. Raymont's with us here. All the great leaders, all the great minds of all time live on this spiral, and we are growing and expanding into something new, something magnificent. And so I know we are all on the transformation team, and no one is left behind because no one is absent, no one is separate, no one is cast aside, because all are worthy, all are gifted, all are amazing, and everyone is working in concert to bring forth this great vision of God's life. That's what's going on. That's the truth I know, and I'm sticking to it. So I am grateful in this moment to release this word into the law that has in fact already said yes to this prayer, to release the word and get myself out of the way, to let go of the humanness of the questions about how or when or why, and really let God do its thing. I release, I let go, and I let it be. And if any one word of this is in alignment, please join me in affirming this truth as we say together. And
So it
so
is.
it is. Mm. And so it is. Thank you, my
Amen.
brother.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It is so good to see you here. Okay, so now that we're in that place, let me tell you about a couple of things, folks. Number one, there's more than a couple ways to stay in touch with Dr. Raymont. I've got his website up here, raymontanderson.com. Facebook is also very easy. Thank you for making it easy for us to remember your websites. Raymond Anderson at Facebook. And I had a link here somewhere for the CSL Greater Baltimore. And I forgot to put it in a banner. So here, let's make a real quick banner, show everybody that as well. And now you're there on Sundays, obviously, or at home on Sundays now.
Correct.
And one of the well, tell us just a little bit about CSL Greater Baltimore. What can we
So
expect?
CSL Greater Baltimore, what to expect is a group of like-minded individuals willing and ready to challenge any aspect of consciousness, any aspect of the old paradigm, any aspect of all of that stuff to step forward. So, for example, Baltimore tends to have a negative or bad reputation. It's like, okay, what is that based on? It's based upon a limited or limiting belief system of what's put out in the media. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we're on the East Coast, we're in Baltimore, the greater Baltimore area. It's time to shift consciousness in this area to such a degree that people in China, India, Italy, the USSR, like everybody, they're like, oh, have you heard about CSL Greater Baltimore? You know, when I visit the United States, let's go there. So we're all about being open at the top and open at the bottom.
Cool. Right on. Good, good, good. And I want to share one other thing that I know. I don't know how many people recognize this or know this. I stumbled on to one of your midday prayer broadcasts recently, and I
Cool.
want everybody to know I was incredibly impressed. Raymont is talented and trained in American Sign Language, and he's providing a sign language only. So this is not him interpreting his own prayer.
Right.
He does a completely verbally silent American Sign Language prayer every day, I believe. Is that right?
No, right now it's Wednesdays at noon.
Wednesdays at noon. Okay, so Wednesdays at noon, which is great. So tomorrow,
Yep.
and catch him on Facebook and check that out. I was thoroughly impressed, and I want to tell you, just watching your prayer, I could feel it was palpable. I felt the passion. I felt
Thank you.
the sense of truth that was emerging. It was a really, really great experience to do that. So thank
Thank
you
you,
for
sir.
doing that
Oh,
in the world.
my pleasure.
There we go. Cool. All right. Well, folks, we're going to take our leave, let you get back into your day. Another quick shout out. Hi, John. Haven't seen John in a while either. So good to see you here. And he's sending some claps and some prayers and some hearts as well. So thank you for being with us, folks. We will be back again tomorrow morning with another edition of this 8:15 a.m. And oh, I'm having uh, so much excitement. I forgot to tell everybody. We got a really, really big announcement. I'm actually going to go Facebook Live here in about an hour to make that announcement, but I'll let you guys know a little earlier. Save the date, May 1st. We're going to do a 12-hour live stream broadcast here on Facebook and YouTube, uh, sponsored by New Thought Radio. It's a fundraising marathon for a group of national nonprofits that are doing good work in the world today, right now. The money is going directly to the streets and to the field. And Dr. Raymond agreed to be with us on that day. So excited. You can check out more on my Facebook page later today. I'll do a live broadcast right around, I'm thinking about 11 o'clock Mountain Time. You can catch that. So we're out of here. We love you. We'll see you again soon. Peace and blessings. Bye now.
As always, amen.